Hello, Hope. How are you?
I'm good, Jones.
Excellent. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mr. Jones Osei. I'm the sales director at Golden Coast Developers, and I'm joined today by Hope. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Hope Lateniano. I'm with CalBank as a mortgage specialist.
Okay. Excellent. So, once again, I would like to welcome everybody for joining us today. And this is just a short exercise that we wanted to do this evening and introduce products to our customers for the first time, and for those who've already heard about this product, giving them a chance to ask some more questions and to become more conversant with the vehicle that we are introducing. First of all, I would like to introduce the company, Golden Coast Developers. Now, Golden Coast Developers, what we are is we are a luxury real estate company who stands for innovation and excellence. We are a relatively new player in the game, and since we started, we have really caused some ripples in the markets. Our agenda, first and foremost, is innovation. We first, apart from innovation, we strive to either be the first to introduce something onto the market or to be the the leading developer at a certain field in the markets, in the real estate markets. So our first project was Foster Park, where we introduced smart homes onto the market. And since then, I'm sure you've seen a few other real estate companies introducing smart home automation in their buildings. We went on to be the first real estate residential company to introduce EDGE certified green policies in our structures. And once again, this developer-backed mortgage is the first in Ghana. We're the first to do it, and we are hoping that other developers or companies will see its benefits and it will be able to translate for it. Because what it does is it gives opportunity for more Ghanaians to be able to invest in real estate. So developer-backed finance. The whole inception behind this program is that when people buy real estate in Ghana, apart from the pricing points, which may be out of reach for a lot, in foreign countries, the banks and the credit system makes investing in real estate more reachable, and also your calculations on return on investments, it makes it more exciting because if I want to buy a house today, a house worth 100,000, I don't need 100,000. Okay. If I have 30,000, 25,000, I can buy that house, invest in that house, and start reaping my returns from that house. Okay. In Ghana, it's a little different. If you don't have all the money, it becomes difficult to invest in real estate. And in the cases where you somehow happen to qualify for a traditional mortgage, the interest rates and the qualifying criteria also makes it difficult or not exciting for a real estate investor. So being who we are and having the opportunity to have the resources that we have, we decided to do something for our buyers. Typically, if you are buying an apartment here or a house here and you're buying off plan, the plan is to have finished paying by the time that the development is done. If you are buying a property that is already completed, usually you should have paid full price, or even if you have a payment schedule, by 3 months, up three, maximum 6 months after you move in, you should have paid. So, and in the cases where you have longer than 2 years to pay, it means that the construction period of the development is also taking longer than 2 years to complete. So if real estate developer tells you you have 5 years to pay, it means they're most likely taking 5 years to build. So being who we are and identifying the gap in the space, we decided to introduce what overseas they call seller financing, or in Ghana here, we're calling it developer-backed mortgage. So that is, we want to give the opportunity for people to buy their apartments, qualify for a short-term mortgage, be able to move into the apartment or the house before they have paid the full amount, and begin to reap interest or returns from the property for as long as 5 years before the full amount is paid. So that is basically the initiative behind this vehicle. It was a difficult start when we tried to introduce it to the banks. They were not very familiar. They thought it was a little risky, but ultimately, CalBank was able to um, collaborate with us, and they took the risk to join us on this venture. Okay. So basically, that is what the developer-backed mortgage is. It's a vehicle that allows people who feel that the 2-year payment plan for an apartment, which starts around $85,000 to about $400,000, is too steep for them. They can afford it, but it puts too much strain on their income. So what this vehicle does is it gives you more time to pay, whereby after you pay 30%, you apply for the mortgage through CalBank, and then the rest of the payment is spread over 5 years. When the development is done within 2 or 2.5 years, you can move in, you have occupancy, you can stay in the apartment, or you can rent it out and use the rental income to offset your loan payments. So that being said, I will hand over the mic to Hope, and he will give you some information on the vehicle itself, what the qualifying criteria is, and sort of what the fine print is. Hope, I think your microphone is off.
Okay, thank you very much, Jones, for this opportunity given me. And everyone on the call, I say welcome to CalBank Golden Coast Heritage 100 developer by mortgage. Now, to start with, financing a property in Ghana really offers exciting prospects. It helps diversify investment portfolio, but successful ventures start with sound financial strategy. Whether you are a non-citizen eyeing to upscale properties in Ghana or a citizen trying to pay for a house, understanding your financing option is very crucial. Now, let me take the time to give the general overview of mortgages in Ghana. Basically, we have the traditional banks which offer mortgages, which when we mention mortgage, the names that comes to mind is the Ghana Home Loans, which is now First National Bank, and the HFCs, which is now Republic Bank. But CalBank is also here, and we also offer competitive mortgages within the market. Now, averagely, when you take a typical mortgage in Ghana, it has a tenor of 15 to 20 years and is being offered to both resident Ghanaians and non-resident Ghanaians. Now, average interest rate for dollar on the market currently is around 13.5, and also the for the CD is between the Ghana reference rate plus up to a margin of 7. Basically, within the banking sector, mortgages are being offered to individuals who are within the salary segment regime. Some banks consider offering mortgages to self-employed. It's not every bank that offer mortgages to self-employed. And also, averagely, every mortgage that is being underwritten comes with certain costs, which includes valuation, search, mortgage registration, etc., and insurance. Now, one will ask, what is the essence of valuation? What is the essence of the search? And the other fees, that is the closing fees that you need to pay. Now, we do the search to ensure that the property in itself don't have any encumbrance on it, or it has not been used for any transaction. And the valuation also helps us to know the actual open market value of the property that you are buying on the market. And also the insurance, which is the mortgage insurance and the property insurance, is to help just in case anything should happen. So let's take, for instance, we are not saying it should happen, but in case you should access a mortgage and through no fault of yours, accidentally you cannot work again, it will not be fair for the bank to be chasing you for these, for you to pay your mortgages. So we ensure that you secure an insurance in that regard. Now, without without much said about the general overview for mortgages, let me go straight into this developer-backed mortgage that we have with Golden Coast developers. Now, the developer-backed mortgage program is a collaborative arrangement between CalBank and Golden Coast Development, where the developer provides a financial guarantee to the bank, allowing prospective buyers to access mortgage financing at a competitive risk with fewer barriers compared to the traditional mortgages that we underwrite. Now, one will ask, how does this product works like? Now, when you take the traditional mortgages that we have, the underwriting processes is very, very, very rigorous. But with this developer mortgage arrangement that we have with CalBank has with Golden Coast developers, the the underwriting process is stress free, is a bit relaxed compared with our traditional mortgage. Now, with this developer bank mortgage as well, the way it works is that prospective buyers need to do a down payment of 30% of the cost of the unit they choose. So, if, for example, you choose a unit which is going for 100,000 USD, you are expected to do a minimum of 30%, which translates to $30,000. Now, the remaining 70% is structured as a mortgage by CalBank with the repayment term, which is spread over a period of 5 years. Now, buyer enjoys a competitive interest rate, which is lower, very, very, very lower compared with the industry average. Industry average of dollar loans is around 13%. But with this developer back mortgage with Golden Coast developers, CalBank is offering an interest rate of 8.75%. So even what it means is that even if you should access a mortgage over the period of 5 years to finance the unit that you are buying, in itself, the mortgage can be an excellent way to finance the property, especially considering yields that these rental properties give within a range of 8 to 11%. So the return on investment, if you should do high-end properties like the Golden Coast development for Heritage 100, you are looking at an average yield of 8 to 11% I think, went over a period of 8 to 10 years. So even if you should access the mortgage at 8.75, it means that your return on investment itself is paying for the mortgage. Now, let me take you through the mortgage arrangement, that how it works. So once the construction is complete within 2 years, you can access and take possession of the property, and the property can be rented out to a third party, or if you also want to use it for your residential purposes, that one is also allowed. But looking at the development, I normally advise that it should be used as an investment vehicle. So you can offset your mortgages using a rental income. Now, you only get a full ownership immediately you secure full payment of the mortgage, depending on the tenor that you assess. So, as we say here, the maximum tenor of the property of the mortgage itself is 60 months, that is 5 years. So, after the 5 year payment repayment, the title is fully transferred to the buyer. Now, what are some of the benefits of this pension? I keep saying pension, but developer-backed mortgage. Now, one, the mortgage process or the underwriting process, as I indicated earlier, is stress-free. Two, the interest rate is competitive. You have 8.75% as interest rate compared to 13% on traditional mortgages on the dollar. Now, the repayment term is also flexible, and you have maximum of 15. You have a maximum of 5 years. One will ask, mortgages are being run for 15 to 20 years. Yes, I understand. But if we should run an Excel for, let's say, $100,000 mortgage for 5 year period, and the same mortgage for $100,000 for 15 years, you will realize that at the end of the day, the longer the tenor, the more interest you pay, and the shorter the tenor, the lesser interest you pay. Now, another benefit of this scheme also helps you generate rental income to cover for the mortgage repayment. Now, before I exit, I would like to also take you through the requirement documentations that you need, and a few eligibilities. So to sign on onto this scheme, there are eligibilities and requirements. As I indicated, you need to do a down payment or an equity contribution of 30%. And the repayment tenor, as I said, is maximum 5 years or 60 months. Now, we have something we call the debt service ratio. What we mean by debt service ratio is that all your exposures that you have as a prospective client and the loan that you want to access, when we aggregate everything, your repayment and your income should not exceed 50%. And when we are doing the computations, we factor all these things in there. Also, one advantage of this collaboration, that is the developer-backed mortgage scheme, is that when you want to do a prepayment, there are no penalties or there are no charges for early redemption. So for this one as well, there is nothing like early redemption compared with the other traditional mortgages, where even if you want to reduce your loan balance, you will pay some penal charges. Now, let me take you through the requirements. As I indicated, is for individuals within the salary segment regime. We also consider self-employed, but self-employed will be on case by case basis. So for this program, or for this mortgage vehicle, we offer the mortgages to both resident Ghanaians and non-resident Ghanaians. And in certain cases, we also offer it to non-Ghanaians who have ties to Ghana. So let's say you have an African American living in America but have ties to Ghana and want to access Heritage 100. We can also extend this form of mortgage to that individual. And for resident Ghanaians, all we need is your KYC documentations. I mean by KYC documentation is your your ID, that is the Ghana card. We need your proof of address, and also we'll need your 3 months current pay slips, and also your 6 months current bank statement, which reflects salary and also employer undertaking. Now, and you also complete an application form. Now, for the non-resident Ghanaians, in addition to what I've indicated earlier, we also require the same 3 months pay slips or pay stubs from them, and also 6 months bank statement reflecting salaries. In certain cases where individuals cannot provide us with the pay slips or pay stubs, for people living in the US especially, we will require them to give us the W-2 or 1099 for people living in the US and Canada and Northern America. And for people living in the UK, we'll require them to give us P60 or the P45. Now, one requirement also for the non-resident Ghanaians is that we will need employer confirmation, and also they need to give us their credit reference bureau report. And the credit reference bureau report needs to be from either Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. And for us to make a meaningful assessment, every applicant shouldn't have a credit score which is below 580. As I indicated, we also do for self-employed, and is based upon case by case basis that we can look at and approve the facility. So basically, this is the developer mortgage scheme that we have with Golden Coast developers. And to end everything and open up the floor for questions, when it comes to financing, the closing cost for this product also is very, very, very affordable compared with the traditional mortgages that we have. Thank you.
Okay, Hope, thank you so much for giving us the dirty details of the vehicle. I would just like to open the floor to anyone who has any specific questions. I myself will start by asking one or two questions that can set the ball rolling, and anybody who wants to ask a question can indicate by, I think you can raise your hand. I don't know if you can raise your hand, but you can just indicate to us that you have a question.
Okay, Jones, I can also see that there is also some questions in the chat box. So if you wouldn't mind, if we can.
Yes, somebody asked us if we have property management partners. And yes, Golden Heritage 100 is a fully serviced building. So for people who opt in, we give the flexibility for people who want to run their apartments themselves. Perhaps they have their own experience, or they have their client base or trusted agents. You have the flexibility to run your apartments yourself in terms of rentals and those services. If you do not have the time or the capacity to do so, we have an in-house property management team who it's a service that you can opt in for. Once you opt in for it, the team is responsible for making sure you enjoy full occupancy of your apartments. So I hope that answers that question. Besides that, Hope, you mentioned that the closing costs for getting a mortgage was very low. Can you give us some information on what exactly to expect? We want to know, besides the interest payments that we'll be paying on the mortgage, what other expenses, hidden or not, should we expect?
So, a moment. So, averagely, when you take a typical traditional mortgage, the closing cost ranges between 3 to 5% of the loan amount.
Okay.
But for this one, closing cost is around 2%. And these are one-time payments. These are one-time payment. That is the search, and the search, as I indicated, is done to confirm whether the property you are buying has been used for any transaction or is encumbered, or it can be registrable and transferred to you. The conveyance can be transferred to you. Two, we also conduct evaluation on the property to ascertain that the property that you are buying is not overpriced on the open market. Now, another cost that comes with the mortgage is the mortgage registration, and per the regulators requirement, if you should buy a mortgage, we need to register. If you should access a mortgage, we need to register the mortgage with collateral registry and lands commission. And all these comes with some statutory payments, which includes stamp duty. And stamp duty is averagely 1% of the property value, and this goes to the Ghana Revenue Authority. And the last part, as I indicated, is you need to secure an insurance on both the property and you, the applicant, that is the life mortgage. And the life mortgage covers death and permanent disability. So just in case accidentally you are incapacitated and you cannot work any longer, insurance will pay the remaining balance of your mortgage for you. Just in case fire or any allied peril should happen to the property, insurance will reinstate you. So basically, these are the closing costs, which is averagely around 2% of the property, the loan amount.
All right. Thank you for saying the loan amount. So it means that if your property is 100,000, this is 2% of the 70,000 that you're taking, and not of the 100,000.
Exactly.
Okay. So before I ask another question, I would want to give the opportunity for anybody on the webinar to also ask a question. Right. You can simply unmute your mic and then begin your question. Okay. If nobody has a question, if I can also state that internally, if you were to be interested in an apartment or any of the apartments that we're building, you come to the office, you engage with a sales executive, you select the apartment that you want, you pay a reservation fee of $5,000 for us to take the apartment off the market for a period of 3 weeks. During that 3 weeks, you have enough time to do your due diligence on the property, go through the contracts. Once you're happy with everything, you pay your initial deposit. If you're taking a mortgage, you pay the initial deposit of 30%. If you are paying via the regular cash channels, you pay an initial deposit of 25%. Once you pay 30%, you are immediately eligible from our end to apply for the mortgage, whereby from that point on, we refer your details to CalBank to take it from there. Now, this is, you can also, from the beginning, if you want to make sure you get a pre-approval for your mortgage, at the very beginning, if you intend to opt in for the mortgage program, you can request that we immediately put you in touch with our mortgage partners so that they can do a preliminary assessment of your standing to tell you that, to let you know if you can go ahead and make the other payments comfortably, knowing that you already pre-qualify for the mortgage. I hope that was helpful. Yes.
Yes. Jones, we have one question in the chat box, which from Mimi K. He said, thanks. Also, do you have estimates on how much properties are renting for in that area of similar standard? So he wants to know the rental income.
Yes. So we have a document which we prepared for this very reason. I think we will, the developer, the deeper dive, I will attach it to the chat and it will give you an idea. It's actually very helpful whether you are buying from us or not. It gives you a good idea on the market rates. So we'll attach it here, and you have an idea of what a studio should earn you, what a one bedroom should earn you, what a two bedroom should earn you. And we've been very modest with the figures, not trying to go to the high end of the spectrum. These are average prices where regular apartments in this part of town with less amenities than us are charging. Of course, once heritage is completed, our apartment is like no other. From our concept to the amenities we provide and the services we provide, we are sure that we will be renting higher than the figures that we've put in. But for your investment calculations, you don't want to go too high on the spectrum. So I will attach that document. It will let you know what the rates per night are for short lets, what the rates per month are for long lets, any other fees you should be expecting, like the service charge, the fees for renting your apartment on your behalf, any housekeeping charges, all those are there, and what you should be taking home net after that. So we'll attach that document to this chat. Please, okay, do you have any other questions? Yes, the reservation fee. The reservation fee is non-refundable. The reason it's non-refundable is when you pay that fee, you are telling us that you should take the apartments off the market. So that blocks other buyers from getting the opportunity to buy. So the reservation fee is not refundable. It is only refundable in the case where, for any reason, from our end, you are unable to buy the property because you are unsatisfied by what we have provided, then it is refundable. But from your end, if you tell us that, hold the apartment for me, I'm interested, I've paid this amount, and you check everything is okay, and you decide that for your own personal reasons, you do not want to go on with the transaction, the reservation fee is not refundable. I have another question. Hope, I think this is for you. Somebody's asking if you need a CalBank account.
Yes, you will need a CalBank account to service the facility. So after we've done the assessment and given you the pre-approval, you will be asked to complete an application form for the mortgage and add your supporting documents. Then, in the process as well, you also commission an account opening. If you don't have an account with CalBank, you'll be asked to open one, and that will be used to service the loan facility. Okay, so thank you.
Do we have any more questions? Okay. It seems somebody's typing a question. That you was choice. Okay, so I'm uploading the documents. Okay, it seems William Boffa. William, you're asking what percentage do you get off if you get into the second phase? Okay, so Heritage 100 consists of two towers, Tower 1 and Tower 2. We began with Tower 1. Tower 1 is going to be completed next year, between the second to third quarter of next year. And Tower 2 has just broken ground, and it's also expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of 2026. As it stands now, we had premiered an early bird promotion of 5% off for people who wanted to invest in Tower 2. Tower 1 is almost sold out. We have maybe about 7 units left in Tower 1. Tower 2 has, I think we have sold 35% of the units in Tower 2. Now, we had ended our 5% promotion on Tower 2, but we tried to extend it over the Christmas period. So as it stands now, you still have a 5% discount on units in Tower 2 until the holiday season is over. So till 2nd January, the 5% promotion on Tower 2 still holds. Is there minimum monthly payments for 2 to 3 bedroom apartments? Okay. So, well, I guess at this stage, you have two options. For our standard payment term, after you pay your $5,000 reservation, you are given 3 weeks to pay an initial deposit of 25%. When this is paid, for Tower 2, you have every 4 months, you pay 15%, and you hold on to the final payment until the apartment is completed. If you're buying in Tower 1, you have every 2.5 months after your initial deposit, you pay 15% because you have less than 1 year for it to be completed. If you are applying for the mortgage, after you pay your 30%, your remainder is calculated. You have an interest of 8.75. So that will determine your monthly payments. So maybe we can compute something for you for the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment, and you can have an idea of what your monthly payments should be.
Okay, so if you can assist me. Let me compute something quickly. So, Jones, how much is the two-bedroom going for,
So
please?
two-bedroom would be starting around $270,000.
$270,000. So, if the applicant is making an equity of 30%, then it means that the loan amount that he requires is 189,000. So for $189,000, and for a period of 60 months at 8.75, he will pay applicant will be paying 3,944 cents.
Applicant will be paying how much?
Applicant will be paying 3,944 cents.
Okay. So
Yes.
if I go into my documents, um, if you were buying a two-bedroom and you were using it for short stays, okay, your net income after your service charge has been paid, and let's say you have rented it for 18 nights out of the 30 nights, your service charge has been paid, your housekeeping charges paid, in-house agency fees paid, without adding your ECG and maybe internet and stuff, which I have not included in this calculation. Your net should be about $4,261 a month if you are doing short lets. If you are doing long lets, for a two-bedroom, if you are doing long lets, your net should be about 3,250 US dollars a month. So basically, what the initiative does is, I mean, short lets or long lets, you are able to offset a huge chunk of your monthly loan obligations by your rental with your rental income. So of course, a two-bedroom or a three-bedroom is on the high end of the spectrum. For somebody buying a one-bedroom or a studio, hope if you can do the computation for me, because the studio is around $115,000 for a regular size studio.
So $115,000. So if the person should do an equity of 30%, and so it means the loan amount is 80,500. And for 80,500 at an interest rate of 8.75, the monthly repayment is 1,661.30 cents. 1,661.30 cents.
Okay. So if I go back to my table in my the document I sent, the deeper dive. So, yes. So the price I gave you was for a Studio B. So
Exactly.
for a Studio B, um, your net to owner in a month after all the fixed expenses are taken is about 2,619. So as it stands, you are already earning more than your mortgage payments. Let's say,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, how much did you say it was per month?
Uh, it's $1,661.30.
Okay. So let's say you even take out $300 for your prepaid and your water and your internet, you are still earning $2,300 a month. If you minus your mortgage of 1,006, I think you have uh, a disposable income of an extra $600 a month without putting any extra money into the investments. So um, it falls in line with what we want to achieve because like I said, in the US, real estate investments has different calculations than here because they take advantage of the credit system. They know they don't have to raise the full amount of any property and they can work the system to their benefits. We want to give you the opportunity to also play with the numbers. If you are savvy enough, you can work the system to your benefits and own multiple apartments without committing the full amount. Let the apartments pay for itself. So this is the idea behind this vehicle. Hope somebody's asking, is there a certain income level or credit score required to apply?
Yes, there is income, qualifying income, and also the credit score. So if you're a non-resident Ghanaian, as I indicated, your credit score should not be below 580. It shouldn't be below 580. And as I indicated, we take credit report from either Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. So Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. These are the credit bureau agencies that we work with. If you happen to find yourself somewhere in Germany, we take the Schufa. And for the Schufa, you should not have a credit score more than 2. 1, the better. 2 is good, but anything above 2 is also unacceptable. And let me reiterate this. If you are a non-resident Ghanaian and you are applying for the mortgage and the documentations that you are providing us is not written, is not in English language, what we require you to do is we will translate it here through the Institute of Translators, and the cost will be borne by you, the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Francis is also asking whether there's room for group ownership if one person cannot acquire it. So I think I can take that. As it stands now, previously we sort of explored the idea of what do we call it? And then we called it
Is it
what's
fractional
the-
ownership?
yes, fractional ownership. Yes. Those were all things that we had tried to introduce here. But God being so good, we did not have to explore those options because we've been favored and patronage has been good. But as it stands now, if you have any person you want to join hands with to buy the property, of course, you're more than welcome to do so. But as an institution, we do not currently have a vehicle that allows fractional ownership from people who do not know each other to purchase. I think it's something that we will continue to explore.
Okay, so thank you, Jules. To add to what the to add to what is it Francis?
Yeah.
Is it Francis who asked that question? Yes. Uh, with our mortgages here to at CalBank, we also encourage joint application. But the joint application only works if it is husband and wife. So like you should be spouses, and you need to prove that okay, you are spouses, and the way you can prove that is through your marriage certificate, or if you have a brother or a father who is also working, that one can also suffice. So Here at CalBank also, our mortgages, we do joint application, and it should be with close relations, and you need to prove that. So if let's say it's your brother, you have to prove that through birth certificate. So that is it. So we encourage joint application here as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hope. Do you have any other questions? Okay. So let me add that we as a company, we are quite flexible. At any point in time, you are immediately pre-qualified from our end to apply for the mortgage after paying 30%. So if you already have a cash plan or you start with a cash plan, and along the way you want to pivot to a mortgage plan, the door is open. So far as the mortgage company, so far as CalBank checks your credentials and your paperwork and you qualify, you can switch from a cash to a mortgage plan.
Jones, I think there is also another question in the chat box here, which is asking, are there options for temporary repayment deferral if buyer face unforeseen financial difficulties? Yes, if you have issues, we we believe that the best thing you need to do is to approach the bank, and we'll have those discussions and we'll see how best we can restructure your loan for you. So there are options available in that instance. Thank you.
Yeah, so if I can add to that is usually when payments for an asset becomes tricky, it's because people don't communicate. It is if you are facing any financial constraints, instead of going quiet where we are trying to reach you, emailing, we can't reach you and we don't know what's going on, and you become delinquent or you default, triggering any penal clauses or termination clauses. It's always best to get ahead of the situation. Send us an email, call us, let us know what's going on and what it means for your payments, and let's sit down and structure structure something that will be of benefits for both of us. Okay. I hope somebody's asking if the buyer can sell their property whilst the mortgage is still active. Oh, but I think your mic is muted.
Can the buyer sell the property while the mortgage is still active? No, you can't sell it, because actually the deed of conveyance, or though it is in the name of the mortgagor, that is the borrower, the bank has placed a lien on the deed of assignment or the deed of conveyance. So in this instance, you cannot sell the property while the mortgage still runs, unless you finish payment before you can fully sell the property. So that is that.
Okay, sounds good. So of course, once you own the property, you are at liberty to do with it as you please. You can sell it or um, rent it, stay in it. It's up to you once it's fully owned by you. Okay. So I think we've exhausted all the questions. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question? You can just unmute your mic and speak, or you can type in the chat box below. Okay, I have attached a document called a deeper dive. It should give you some more detail on the rental rates in the vicinity and in the development. And I've also attached a brochure that you can go through at your convenience. Let me just put in our website. So you can do your own research on the property, explore the options or the packages that we have, and in your own time, pass our office in Laboni for a site visit, for a drink or two. We can have a conversation around not just the property, but real estate investment in Ghana or Accra as a whole. So I'll just give some time for any last minute comments from.
Okay, so to all the participants,
I hope your mic again.
okay, so as I'm saying, I've also dropped my email address and also my contact details on the box, on the chat box, so you can get me there. So my email is hnyaunu@calbank.net, and my contact number is +233 26 4000 440. So as I said, my email is hnyaunu. The nyaunu is NYAUNU at CalBank.net. So I've sent it on the chat box, and my contact number is +233 26 4000 440. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Hope. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us. As it stands now, we are already aware that the market is quite competitive, and we are doing everything in our power to give investors of Heritage 100 an edge. We have taken great lengths to make sure that we have a unique and authentic concept, which gives a handshake to our culture and make sure that we are not just one apartment in a million, but we are the only apartment that is authentic in our people, our beliefs, our culture, and expresses that without shame in every aspect of the building. At the same time, being one of the most luxurious buildings in Accra. At the same time, embracing, we call this future proofing our apartments. When we are future proofing it by making sure that where the world, the direction that the world is heading in, we are already ahead of the curve so that buildings that are being built between now, 5 years from now, will all be either catching up to us or we will not fall behind them. That's why we have smart home automation features as standard in our apartments. That's why we are already building green and going green and following the EDGE certified World Bank policies, building policies on the apartments. And that is why also we are spearheading the drive for, seller financing or developer backed financing. These are all ways to give our buyers an edge. Anybody who is buying any other building will have to either commit the full amount of cash, or if they are taking a mortgage, they'll be paying 13%. Those in our building already have an edge. Apart from all these amenities, in fact, I didn't even mention the amenities. We have a whole lot of amenities from spa, cinema, art gallery, Zen gardens, electric vehicle charging stations, the pool, the gym. We have all those in the building, and we are going as far to extend flexible payment options or financing options to our buyers, which means that where people will be paying 13% interest, you are paying 8.7% interest. So you're already making a higher return than the average person who has either paid full price for their apartment or is paying a higher interest rate than yours. So that's the whole point. We are here to innovate, to give people an edge over the competition, and to continue doing that. A lot of the things we are doing, we didn't have to do. By virtue of our location alone, we could have sold this building. But we want to make sure we're not only selling well, but our investors are renting well throughout the payback period, which is between 7 to 10 years, actually between 5 to 10 years of owning the apartments. So I would like to thank you for joining us today. I would like to thank Hope for taking the time out to explain things in clearer detail to our participants.
Yeah, thank you. And Jones, my last words to the prospect on this call is that partnering with a reputable developer like Golden Coast Developers, they can provide your turnkey solutions to simplify the process, and also seeking hassle-free investments options in Accra thriving residential area. Think Golden Coast Developers, think CalBank also to give you the mortgage that you need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hope. And I'd like to thank everybody here for joining us. You can reach out to us on our website, or let me just put my email here so that you can send us an email. That's sales@goldencoastdevelopers.com. If you require any more information. Thank you. Yes. Let me also add my phone number. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining, everyone. Okay. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night, Jones. Thank you.